Milo and Milo watch movies. Milo and Milo watch movies.
I'm ready to party with my best friend.
That was the best intro ever. Did you know we were recording?
I did not, but welcome everybody to
Welcome.
Milo and Milo. That's what we're doing.
For Sunday,
We're watching movies.
12:58, November 28th.
Woo! Happy Hanukkah, baby.
Happy Hanukkah, baby.
And happy past Turkey Day. We ate some delicious food, and I hope everybody out there was able to have a good day, however you spent it. Maybe ate something delicious. Maybe you chose not to eat anything. That's your choice. We support you.
So we came up, or at least I came up with an abbreviation for the podcast, because every good podcast needs an abbreviation.
All right, lay it down.
So it's Milo and Milo watch movies.
Indeed.
So big M, little a, big M, little W, big M. And people can shorthand it with Mam Wham.
Mam Wham, it rolls off the tongue.
You can get a mammogram while listening to Mam Wham.
Ugh, so hot. Totally into it.
Did
Nothing like having your breast squeezed, like, not in a pleasurable way, and full cameras.
I feel like this movie squeezed my breasts in a not pleasurable way.
Oh, gosh. So I feel like we mentioned on the last podcast potentially what we were going to watch, but we watched Senior Skip Day, which... yeah, I would agree. Is basically like the equivalent of like an hour and a half mammogram, but worse and like with less to show for it at the end. Because at least with a mammogram, you get a picture.
So it seems to me that this was supposed to be some kind of Ferris Bueller Day Off on steroids meets Van Wilder with a little bit of American Pie thrown in there.
I think that's a great description.
Something like that. So this was directed by Nick Weiss.
Okay.
So usually, or what we were going to try and do as the format for this podcast, for all you good little listeners out there, I was going to watch the movie on Monday and then research the bejesus out of it. And then on the following Sunday, Katie was going to watch it and then react to it instantly.
That's true.
We ended up watching it a few days ago and we're reacting to it now, but it was very hard to do a deep dive on this movie because this movie does not even have a Wikipedia page.
Yeah, there's really nothing about it. There's like no real interviews. We did pick up the DVD because it has, Norm Macdonald in it, and we have a soft spot for Norm. Rest in peace.
Well, when I found out Norm died, as you know, but I'm, for the folks at home,
I do know.
I'm letting all the peeps at home know. So when I found out Norm Macdonald died, I went to Entertain Mart, which shouts to them. They're our local
shout out to Entertain Mart.
Physical media
we
mecca.
Love you.
I went to Entertain Mart and I bought everything that I could that had a Norm Macdonald credit in it. I think I stopped at producing, but I don't know if he ever strictly produced anything. But so basically, I got a stack of
really random
B movies
and a lot of
and one
Christmas
season
movies.
of Roseanne that he wrote on. Rest in peace, Roseanne. But this was one of those movies, and it's Senior Skip Day, and in it he plays Mr. Rigetti, which is if I had to guess, it's a war veteran gambling PTSD sort of recovering school teacher. Although none of that was said, but that's what I picked up from
that
Norm's
was certainly the
portrayal.
backstory of his 7 minutes in this movie. And then who is the principal?
Larry Miller, who is also funny.
And he's excellent. So that's the star power. And Tara Reid.
Tara Reid is in this movie for no reason at all.
Yeah. Leah Thompson is also in this movie for no reason at all.
It's almost like they owed somebody a favor.
100%. Like somebody owed somebody a favor, or they all are friends in real life and somebody they knew was like, guys, I'm going to make a movie. Will you please be in it because you're so famous? And they said yes.
Here's what I was able to find.
Which is nice for friendship.
The screenwriter was Evan Hoyt Wasserstorm.
Okay.
And he was... Where is it? Back here. He was an assistant to George Gallo, who is one of the executive producers on this movie.
Okay.
He was like the assistant to him as his credit on a couple of movies. So it was like, it would say, you know how sometimes you're watching the credits and it says assistant to. So
sure.
Evan Hoyt Wasserstorm has a few assistant to credits.
Okay.
And some of them are to George Gallo. And so you can imagine him being like, hey, Mr. Gallo, thanks for letting me assist you. I got this script. And he probably was like, maybe get some Tara Reid, Wolverine titty in there, and we got a movie. And I'm also looking at the back of the DVD now. I'm seeing that Julie Lott Gallo also produced it. So it was looks as though it may have been
Mrs. Gallo
and the assistant.
Get it. Also, Clint Howard is in this.
Ron Howard, sorry.
No, Clint Howard.
Oh.
Ron Howard is the redhead from Happy Days.
Ron Howard is
his
the one
brother.
that didn't get locked in the attic like a Simpsons episode.
Yeah, his brother. And it's like also confusing. He's some sort of hitman or something. He has a terribly huge bad tattoo of like a leaf on his neck, and that's really all I got.
Spider's web. It's a prison house tat.
See, it was that good. I totally knew it.
The two interviews that I was able to find around the time this came out was Larry Miller and Clint Howard, and they both of them took their part seriously enough to give the performance that we saw in the movie, but
they take it way too seriously.
They both were sort of like, oh, listen, we know this movie's not going to be great, but it's fun. It's fun to make these kind of movies and stuff like
a teen summer movie.
Clint Howard, I don't think that's his name. Is that his name?
Let's look his name.
Let's see.
It's totally Clint Howard.
Oh, he doesn't even get billing on the back of this movie. That's sad.
Upsetting to me.
So Clint Howard, wait.
Yep.
Oh, I thought it said Dave Navarro, but apparently this movie was edited by Darren Navarro. So everybody's cousin worked on this movie.
I was gonna say the infamous Darren Navarro.
So Clint Howard was saying he liked the role when he read the script because you don't know why this guy's there. He seems just like a weirdo, and then you find out that he's got it in for the principal at the end.
Right.
And Larry Miller apparently was the one who came up with the idea of going like darker and darker and darker with his character, which is why that's one of the more entertaining parts of the movie. And had they followed just that and had him go completely off the rails, I think that would have been a funny movie.
Yeah, so I guess we should explain the premise.
Do the overview.
Quick. So basically, in a real brief little description overview, it's senior skip day. Super self-explanatory. So seniors in school, it's the end, they're gonna have a skip day, and they had originally planned to throw the party at Larry Miller, the principal's house. Mr. Dick Walter.
Sorry, I was shouting at the microphone.
You're Dick Walter. He obviously finds out from a character who is Asian, and the only reason I point that out is because every time he comes on screen, literally they go bwong, which is
a gong.
Yeah, which is not even the most upsetting part of all of this, but we'll get back to that. So he finds out, and this kid who's kind of a nerd who loves the hot girl is like, I'm gonna throw it at my house. And in the Ferris Bueller way. They talk to cameras, and the principal's like,
everybody breaks
I
the
am
fourth
gonna
wall.
go and I'm gonna find them. And so the movie is him sort of like traveling around trying to find out where these kids are partying, getting himself into trouble, getting his ass beat. And intermittent, there's a lot of like unnecessary titty, weird sex, not a ton of drugs, some drinking, and like the worst semi like porno writing, like dialogue. Like nobody sounds natural.
Yeah, this
at
is
all.
almost, this movie almost looks as if somebody edited all the sex out of like a softcore porno.
Definitely,
And,
but
and
left
just
in
left
like
in the dialogue. Yeah.
yeah, and like every once in a while a titty gets left in because they like forgot or something. And again, in the same way of like American Pie and all that, everybody's trying to lose their virginity, although everybody looks like they already are in college or, you know,
They're
their
fucking
mid-20s.
80s, am I right?
Yeah, everybody's looking pretty old. It's weird. It's a very strange movie that ends with, of course, them not getting caught and him getting the girl, like the main guy getting the girl, because, you know, that has to happen. But like nobody cares. Nobody's interested. It's like the weirdest development of a relationship.
I think you pretty much nailed the overview, except for you missed the funeral that happens.
Oh yeah.
And they fill it with every single token black character.
I was going to say, and in another weird bout of racism that this movie seems to touch on, there is a funeral. Like a kid actually has a funeral, and so that's how they get the principal to like let them out for the day, is they say they're going to this guy's brother's funeral, who he had cancer, but he jumped out of an airplane and he died that way. It's
He was
very
parachuting,
weird.
like a last wish kind of thing.
And so they have every terrible cliche. They have singing and dancing and like just very, very weird stuff happening. Nobody's particularly upset, and it goes on for hours. And then the principal fucking crashes it, and it's like a real funeral. And he's like, "Oh, that's a dead kid." It's like, it's very weird. It's very weird.
Right. He shows up to Gary Lundy's character's house.
Gary Lundy is the main
The
character.
main dude.
We never know.
And his acting credits include a debut in Donnie Darko, and I think that and this movie are about it.
And if he was in Donnie Darko, it must have been for like less than 90 seconds, because I have no idea.
I can't even remember how Donnie Darko goes. But so Mr. Dick Wilder shows up after his mom has showed up, and he has his inspirational, like, I threw an amazing party, right guys? And everybody goes, yeah, and the music gets all inspirational behind it. The music choices in this movie were very strange.
Yes.
Anywho, so Mr. Dick Wilder gets there, and Leah Thompson runs interference at the front door after being like, I'm so disappointed in you, but then decides
like, I'm
to
so proud of you for throwing a party.
Right. But she comes home and she goes, oh my God, my mattress is in the pool and shit again, you know?
That's true, because evidently
And on a
Tara
dime,
Reid, his
she
older sister,
threw a
had thrown
party.
a party her senior year. Go figure. And it was infamously horrendous. So we're, again, supposed to care, and we just don't care.
So we aren't really sure if Leah Thompson's character is like for the party. It's almost like she wants them to throw a party, but wants them to like not get caught or something like that.
So she does, because in the beginning she asks him if he's going to like the senior skip day party and
like,
how he should like cut loose, because he's supposed to be this like
and she
good
pretends
boy.
to do lines of coke in the flour that's like spilt over on the,
and like dances and is wearing like a lacy tank
she's
top.
like, I was the disco queen.
Yeah, it's like, I'm a cool mom, I'm a young mom, and Tara Reid is my daughter, who's definitely not supposed to be 30.
Right.
And Tara Reid looks rough. Like you can
Haggard.
see like the bad extensions. You can see the foundation. Like,
So
it's not.
The way this movie
it's not great.
wraps up is they send. So Mr. Dick Wilder shows up to the party. Everybody's hiding behind the door, and the main dude tells his mom, "Say this," and goes, "We're all over here," and then we're gonna
Right.
So she tells Mr. Dickwalder that they're all over at the funeral, and so he starts heading over to the funeral, and I guess they like race. They beat him there, and he gets there and doesn't believe it's a funeral because there's all the student body there plus a bunch of black people, and so he thinks that all these black people are like covering for them, and he thinks that there's a bunch of beers in the casket, and he opens it up and there's the kiddo.
It's so nuts and weird, and then they like beat the shit out of him like in the funeral and throw him out.
That's right.
And he's just like covered in blood, and
then the main guy and the main girl kiss, and then they break character as the credits start to roll, which I thought was a weird choice. I honestly wanted to be like, you didn't earn that.
Yeah, it's very weird. The other thing, I mean, again, they do the talk to the camera. You're not supposed to know, so at one point he looks and he's like, I like her so much, and she like looks to the camera and she's like, I like him so much. I think I can trust him. Yeah, it's like very weird. And of course she has a shitty boyfriend who kind of looks like a knockoff Bradley Cooper.
That's right.
And the whole thing is that he cheats on her, but like he really wants to have sex, and she promised she would have sex with him at this party because that's where everybody wants to lose their virginity, is at like a weird senior skip day party. But again, like, it's just very weird. It's a lot of dry humping and him being like, come on, if you love me, you'll fuck me.
Yeah, this movie is like a dry hump. It's a dry hump of a movie. It's a dry
hump of a movie. And again, it's like fairly racist, fairly misogynistic, and not funny. Like,
not a lot of funny parts.
Yeah.
I will say I think there were like 2 laugh out loud parts, which I guess that's a good segue into our next line on the piece of paper, which is best part, worst part.
What? Oh my god, best part, worst part.
So what was your to you, what do you think the best part of the movie was?
Oh man. I don't even know if I can like remember something that I thought was like what's good.
So
I mean,
when you're skimming the movie in your mind, what's one part that made you kind of go, if there was one?
I mean, I guess kind of the principal, like he had a few one-liners that were like, okay, but he gets really dark. I don't know. I feel like I didn't really laugh in this movie.
So what? And what was the worst part, the lowest part of this movie?
There's some weird racist fighting with the like Asian kid's dad. Like the principal like starts like yelling at him and telling him to like go cook food, and that was weird. And then just some of the and I think also the funeral, like that was just like a low like
the song that his cousin or that his uncle sings is I laughed out loud the first time I heard that.
Oh, like that's
too
fair.
Bad he couldn't fly.
Yeah, that's. I mean, just the premise that he like fell out of an airplane, sort of thing, is funny, but not really. And also, it's like, oh my god, like this high school kid had cancer. Like that's pretty sad.
That's dark, yeah. So,
what was your best part and worst part?
My favorite part of this whole movie, the part that I like actually rewound and watched again when it happened, is when Mr. Dickwalder stumbles on the mafiosos and they have him move a dead body.
Oh my god.
and they're at one point they're like, this cocksucker is still alive, and they like all pull out their guns and shoot the body that's wrapped up.
Oh my god, you're totally right.
And his reaction while they're shooting them, I was howling and slapping my knee, and there's some of the boobies. We have this movie on in the background and fast forward so that we don't get sucked into
well, because I don't fucking remember it because it was that bad. And when you even said the mafioso thing, I was like, oh yeah, that did it. Okay, fair. That was kind of, that was just like,
I mean,
we're throwing this in there.
I think Italian stereotypes are hilarious for some reason. Like Like he literally slips into a Goodfellas movie for a second,
like out of nowhere.
Oh, shit.
And they're like,
that's
you gotta
funny.
do this, you gotta do this errand for us, and like take this body, and like, why? How? I don't know how he knows that.
I wonder if the screenwriter threw some wise guy shit in there because George Gallo, I'm just now remembering, his first screenplay was Wise Guys with Danny DeVito and Joe Piscopo. So I wonder if he was like, yeah, boss. I'll
that
even
famous little guy, Joe Piscopo. Joe Pesci?
No, Joe Piscopo.
Wise Guys?
Yeah. Have you
Oh,
not
word.
seen Wise Guys?
No.
That's a funny one.
Okay. I was like, Joe Pesci?
No. So there's Danny DeVito
I don't know what I'm talking about.
and Joe Piscopo. Did you ever see You Are Black, I Am White, Frank Sinatra and Stevie Wonder on SNL?
Yes.
The actor who was doing that iteration of Frank Sinatra
Was Joe Piscopo.
Joe Piscopo.
I know who Joe Piscopo is. I just didn't know about this movie.
Oh.
I just got confused.
Bitch, you crazy.
I know. I know. I'm so sorry.
What the hell was that?
I think my brain just farted and like came back online.
And the worst part for me, I don't, probably the setup, just with all the like, you here at high school, you've got your jocks, your stoners, your pretty girls, your like that. I was like, really? You're just gonna like,
What year is this?
I can't remember which English teacher like said this, but I know that he got it from some fucking where else. But the whole like, don't tell me, show me. Yeah. And so like when a movie just comes out and says, this guy's a stoner, and then the stone, although I did like the stoner was one of my favorite.
They had a stoner who was like perma-fried, and
he's like, although I imbibe copious amounts of herbage, I don't drink. I'm a straight A student, and I show nothing but the utmost respect for the ladies.
Yeah.
And like every time he's in frame, there's like two platonic girls just like hanging out
with him, and he's just like getting high. Yeah. And then there's on the other side is this super weird quiet kid who sneaks into rooms and just like watches porn, and for some reason they have an old lady that they brought to their house. They found like their neighbor who escaped from a senior home, and they just like let her come to the party.
They just take her to the party.
She just sits quietly in the room with this like porn on, and then like the kids come in, take like pictures of her, and she's just like watching porn.
So
it's bizarre.
the way that the kids have their phones aimed at her, it's almost like the porn kid and the old lady kind of started doing something gross. Like maybe he was like eating her out while she was watching the film, but it got edited out or something like that.
Yeah, again, it's almost like I wonder if there is a like full-on porn version of this, like because it is almost
with an old
like,
lady getting eaten out.
I mean, honestly, and that would have been much more fucking interesting. Like this is just like almost a movie, you know, and like weird grand gestures that aren't really grand gestures. So like she like the hot girl all of a sudden has like a dream to like make crepes for everybody. Like that's been her dream. And so he, of course, nerdy boy, goes and gets ingredients and like comes back and is like, she's gonna make crepes, and she gets fucking pissed at him like, how could you do that? It's almost like my mother died making crepes,
right?
Crepes ruined my family.
And then he's like, I know you really want to do this. And she's like, okay, I'd like to crepes.
She's like, do you really believe in me? And then it's like a weird
crepes,
montage of them making crepes. Like she's saving the fucking world. Her boyfriend is somewhere else having sex with some other girl with fake titties.
With Laura.
Oh, right. They start fucking in this RV.
Right.
It's crazy. Yeah, well. And you don't even see any of the sex, really. You just have a lot of innuendo, but they take tits out every 5 minutes. So, again, it's just like a significant dry hump. Then you're left being like, what happened?
Did we watch the trailer for this movie? Or did we just...
Well, I didn't watch it until after I saw the movie.
Oh, okay.
But yes, we did, and it was.
What did you think of the trailer?
I was like, oh, this is boring. What is happening in this movie? Like, it's almost a movie, but it's just scenes. It's like it's not really a movie.
What's funny is there's not a ton of drinking, and there's definitely not any sort of like realistic drinking, but like on the cover of the DVD, all the characters are sort of photoshopped in around a giant beer.
Right, and they all have like red Solo cups and it looks like they have porn stars in it because that's the three girls. Right, they're like, we need to figure out a way to get people to this party, so they hire models. And they have these like 3 models come over and pose in underwear for everybody.
And
like you do in high school.
Well, it's almost I was telling Katie when we rewatched it together, it's almost like the girls that the fictional characters in the movie got are the same girls that the producers or that the people who made this movie got in real life to tell other people to watch their movie.
Right.
It's like, you got to watch our movie. We got 3 girls in it that are, we got girls for our movie, bro. You have to check it out.
Right. Like, you got to see how hot these girls are. They're totally going to sell the movie. Like, and there's a lot of like sexual harassment and like fairly overt sexism in it. Like the principal who busted Tara Reid when she was in high school for having this infamous party.
Right.
He sees her again briefly.
He tries to holla.
And like straight up is like, yo, you trying to fuck?
Right.
She's like, I'm sorry, what's happening? He's like, yeah, you look good. Let's go fuck.
Yeah, totally.
Like it was, yeah. And no. Also, I'm sure Larry Miller does not want to like fuck Tara Reid. He's like, are you okay? Do you need a sandwich? You look dehydrated.
I think Larry Miller is one of the great comedians of our time, but I feel like sometimes it's almost like he's willing to take one for the team in order for the movie to continue on, where they're like, all right, now your character wants to hit on Tara Reid, and he's like, okay, and then just sort of does it like to the best of his ability.
Do you think, well, so here's the thing, right? Like either they got paid a ton of money, right? It had to be worth it in some way. It was in their contract, right? Which possible. Or maybe they have gambling debts. We know that Norm was a gambler.
Yeah, I think Norm was probably at his agent's office, and he was like, "Hey, I'll play anything I can take." And they're like, "All right, well, this awful movie needs a like English teacher." And he's like, "Yeah, I could do that."
So that'd be fun. That'd be really fun. There's definitely like more pretend pot in this than there is drinking, which is true. Like you're supposed to think they're drinking, but then they're also just like eating crepes.
Well, at one point the main character downs an entire bottle of some vodka or Everclear looking thing, and then sits down on the couch and goes, "You're hot," and starts kissing one of the models or whatever.
That's true.
And then his mom comes home or whatever, and then he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm not very drunk at all."
Yeah, he's not really drunk. I mean, and then the other part of it is he gets told that he should tell the girl he likes he's not a virgin because that will somehow be more enticing.
Because that's the thing to do.
And she's a virgin because you have to be. And, her boyfriend who's cheating on her is like, "I'm a virgin." She's like, "Oh my God, let's do it." And so he like decides to get drunk because he sees them like doing it.
Almost about
to do it. And he like turns to camera and he's like, he was inside of her. Like he was full on inside of her.
Right.
And you're like, what is happening here? Also, like, why are you? Yeah, I don't know. Like yeah. So we watched this movie, guys. We really did. We watched this whole movie.
So there are no bonus features on this DVD, by the way.
Thank God.
Shit. I wanted to. So there's a giant beer can on the cover, and the cover of the disc is the top of a beer can. That's all I was going to say for the movie poster DVD
Well, you know,
art.
college life or high school life or whatever.
It's almost like the front says, drink a beer before you watch this movie. And then you open it up and the DVD says, seriously drink
you
a lot
need
of beer before you watch this movie.
This will be much funnier if you're like drunk.
So with this movie, the bonus features are you are able to watch it in 5.1 Dolby Digital surround sound.
Okay.
You are able to know what they're saying with Spanish subtitles.
Yes.
And there are previews for other movies.
That's true.
And the bonus features are not rated.
I imagine this would be much better in Spanish and would make more sense because at some point Larry Miller starts doing a tremendous amount of cocaine. And that's part of what makes him like
Spanish.
No,
so
I just
it's
feel
funny.
like you would like. It seems like he's a hitman or something, and if you couldn't quite understand what was going on, it would be much more interesting.
So yes, it would. So on the spine, you see the main character with not the girl that he ends up with, and they sort of make you think that this girl has more screen time than she actually does.
And it's one of the models with the breastises because they're just in bathing suits the entire movie. But again, it's like a little bit like American Pie. Like the cover definitely looks like it could be Van Wilder or American Pie.
Or like some shitty American Pie sequel.
Or like a National Lampoon.
Yeah, totally.
Like college frat party boyfriend hour or something. I don't know.
Which I feel like I saw a few of those when I was trying to get through the entire comedy section in Blockbuster, which I didn't make it, but that was something I tried to do.
I honestly, Van Wilder was sort of the last of those I could watch because they jerked off the dog, and that was like a little too much for me. Everybody has their own limits.
Did you know that Van Wilder was based off of Bert Kreischer? The character Van Wilder was based off of the real life person Bert Kreischer.
Really?
Yes.
Because he jerked off dogs when he was in college?
I don't know about that part, but because he was just so
crazy,
so fucking wild, so wilder. He was so Van Wild and crazy, and
he just knew somebody who was gonna do this. Okay, we'll get it, Bert Kreischer.
I should have looked that up before I said something about it, but
you know what? You gave us an interesting thing to think about and come back to.
Yeah, go check it out, everybody.
Curious. Damn. Okay, well, I hope his life was a little less gross than Van Wilder because shit gets weird. I
assume that Bert Kreischer's life was amazingly gross.
Yeah, it seems
before
like
he found his beard wife.
A little smelly.
Bert Kreischer?
No, just like his life. Like everything seems a little sticky and a little smelly, but he's doing his thing. He's making fucking money hand over fist.
He's super duper rich.
Yeah, that's true. But I'm rich too. In love.
I'm rich in love with you, baby.
So I guess it's time for 6 degrees of separation.
Did you see what I wrote down this time?
Thank God. We're doing it from the last movie. We are no longer trying to just do fucking Kevin Bacon or Rip Torn.
Rip Torn. Rip Taylor.
Rip Taylor.
Rip Torn is the guy who passed away.
Oh, damn.
Like, this isn't an intergalactic kegger here.
Oh, got it. He's like, I drink my own pee because it's sterile.
I drink my own urine, but I like it.
It's sterile and I likes the taste.
Okay.
So the last movie was
Troll.
And this movie is Senior Skip Day.
So I guess from the last movie we should pick Sonny Bono because he's probably got
Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
Oh shit! I forgot that she was in that. Okay, so that opens up anybody who's ever been in Seinfeld.
I mean, yes, that's
including
true.
Seinfeld himself.
Has Larry Miller ever? Larry Miller was never on Seinfeld, right? He was on Seinfeld.
I actually think
Larry Miller was on Seinfeld.
I don't know if he was ever like hey, I'm a character, but so Jerry at one point falls asleep watching a bad science fiction movie.
Okay.
And Larry David plays the mad German scientist in the movie that he falls asleep to. So
Larry David or Larry Miller?
Larry David, sorry.
So no, Larry Miller was not in Seinfeld.
Larry Miller is not in Seinfeld. Larry David was on this television show. Were you saying was Larry Miller ever in Seinfeld? Oh, I got confused.
He heard Larry and he went fucking running, bro.
That's only 1 degree of separation. You got to do 6.
No, it has to be within 6.
Oh, I thought.
I swear, there's gonna be one day when we're gonna fucking understand this game and do it right. So. The people of note in this, so we got to go Julia Louis-Dreyfus. Why don't we just do... I'm sure Larry Miller and Jerry Seinfeld were in something together, or like the B movie.
Let's see here. Larry Miller, Seinfeld.
He's using his phones, folks, which technically is against the rules, but at this point...
Larry Miller...
This way.
Is an American comedian and actor who played the doorman on Seinfeld.
Oh my God. That's 1 degree of separation.
So that's it?
That's
the game's
it.
over?
Yeah, we can try another character. So what about Tara Reid? Let's see. So what about who was on
First?
No, that's not his name. What about Sonny Bono?
Tara Reid to Sonny Bono.
Is that possible?
So Tara Reid was in
Sharknado.
I don't know anybody else who was in Sharknado.
Every Republican in Hollywood. Like all of them. They all decided to be in it at some point,
right,
remember?
That's right.
So what about Sonny Bono to Cher to Nicolas Cage.
Snap out of it.
Nicolas Cage to John Travolta. Nope.
Yep.
Yeah, but was she in anything with John Travolta? No.
I wonder if there's
What
a
the
6
shit has
degrees
she
of
been in?
separation app. Let's see
If there isn't, we're copywriting it and we're doing it.
Let's see. Sonny Bono.
There must be one, right?
Degrees of separation.
I bet it.
From Tara Reid.
Well, I suppose while you're looking this up, it might be a good time to thank our sponsors. So we have the Charlie Milo Band sponsoring us with free merch and CDs that folks can win if you write in or request.
Apparently CDs are dead, but
hey, let us know in the comments below.
If you
Are
think
CDs dead?
I think they're going to come back because I think since albums are back, people are going to be like, man, I wish I could bring my album into the car with me.
I agree. Very much so.
Otherwise, they're just going to have like giant laser record players in the car.
Right.
Be like, whoa, drive very carefully. You don't want it to skip. It would skip. And if you drove too fast, your engine would heat up and it would probably melt the vinyl. So, I mean, you gotta go with the plastic.
You know what? You gotta think about these things. Although I think it would be dope to have like a huge vinyl setup like in the back seat of a car. Well, it'd have to be the front seat. Damn, changing the vinyl would be dangerous. Very dangerous.
It'd be like a cartoon version of the 90s when you had
all the CD cases.
CD cases open on your lap. My love, would you give this a thumbs up or a thumbs down?
I gotta go thumbs down. I mean, none of this was worth watching. Like, don't do it. Don't even watch. Like, it's just not worth it. We gotta find better movies, baby. I
would say thumbs up because Norm's in it, and because when Larry Miller interacts with the mafioso Italians, that was worth the $3.99 of the movie alone, because I laughed my fucking balls off when that happened. Also, some of the stuff that happened at the funeral was pretty funny. Although I think they had that guy say motherfucker way too many times.
Yeah, that was also part of the like fun, weird, one-dimensional shit. They had the like father of this dead boy get mad at Larry Miller on the phone and like call him a motherfucker And that's it. He just goes, motherfucker.
But they have him do that like 15 times throughout the course of the movie.
You know, just as a father would at his son's funeral. But, you know, I guess this movie is going for hyperrealism, so... I can't believe it's a thumbs up for you. I feel like I have concerns about what's going on.
It's a thumbs up for me because you probably wouldn't be able to find like that funny part on YouTube. Does that make sense? So you couldn't
just like pull it up.
So you'd have to like get the movie in order to enjoy the mafia shooting the guy wrapped up in the carpet.
Oh my god!
And Larry Miller's reaction, like the way that he like does his hands.
He just sort of like flinches and shit. It's so stupid.
Well, and plus, if we thumbs down everything, it's going to be unfunny and predictable. People are going to be like, these people.
No, you gotta wait. You don't know because we're gonna pick something better for next week. Promises.
Here's a challenge. Do
Okay.
you think that we can have a successful conversation about a good movie for, 50 minutes to 60 minutes?
Perhaps. It's a good question. I
Isn't
mean,
it,
I'd
though?
like to think so.
I'd like to think that you'd like to think so.
Well, since it was a holiday, I don't think we got anything written in from any viewers. Did we get any letters this week?
I think so. Let me just go into the letter sack over here and see if we can find anything.
Production assistant.
I know. It's the craziest thing that ever happened in the world right now.
I love that we have a letter sack now.
There's a lot of sacks.
I've had a lot of sacks in my life, but this is my first. This is my first letter sack, and it feels nice to have one with you.
All right, let's see what we got here.
Oh, it looks like Brittany posted something for us. Brittany Stevens?
Brittany Stevens.
Is that the name?
Who the hell is that?
I don't know.
Let's see what we got here.
Oh, no, I can't read.
We're digging through the letter sack.
Anything you want to promote while you're sack digging?
Here, you do your shout outs while I'm sack digging over here.
I'd like to do a shout out to our dogs, Ned, Lola, and Joey. They keep it real, and I really appreciate them for that. You can find some new music. Look for Crimson on the internet. You can go to SoundCloud and basically anywhere you can pay and download for music. Saint Bernard, this dope ass I guess I would say he's a DJ, but he's a little more than that. He's like a sound artist. It's like kind of weird and cool. He just put out this new album, and that's dope as shit.
Crimson.
You should go check that out. And then, of course, please check out Charlie Milo Band, playing every weekend where music is played. Any shout outs you got, Baba?
Shout outs to Stoney Jamal, Chris Combs, Marty Higman, Chelsea Martinez, the people, the hamster style people. Shout outs to the Milo family, the Vaughn family,
And the Con
the
family.
Cons family.
I found a letter.
Did you find a letter?
I found a letter in our sack.
From Derek Cook.
Should I read it?
Yeah.
It's a shorty, but I think it's a goodie. Dear Milo and Milo watch movies. I really dig that the two of you are married and watch movies together. I know you were going to watch Senior Skip Day, and I'm wondering, did you ever have a Senior Skip Day? If so, what did you do? Thanks again for being funny and being nice to each other, Eric.
That's a great letter that Eric wrote.
Appreciate you. Thanks so much, Eric Cooks. So baby, did you ever have a Senior Skip Day? And if so,
I can't remember. I did take part in Senior Snow Day, which
Okay.
is where
in Colorado, isn't that like all days?
do you want to hear what the fuck I have to say? You're
No,
gonna
I
interrupt
don't.
me?
I want to ask questions over the top of you. Please speak.
So the Snow Day thing was where we took all our papers out of our locker and backpacks and threw them all through it into the air, and so it was like walking through a bunch of paper cutty unpleasantness trying to get from one end of the hallway to the other. I don't know if I actually took part in Senior Skip Day, But I didn't walk to get my diploma because I had a gig that evening.
You were too fucking cool. You were playing.
Yeah, I was playing music that evening, so I couldn't be bothered to purchase a gown and cap and go get my diploma. And then years later, my mom insisted that I went and get it to prove to her that
You
I
actually
got it. I didn't give a fuck.
I also just love that she's like, hey, if I don't see the piece of paper, you may not have been going to school at all. Yeah.
Did you have a senior skip day?
I did have a senior skip day, and I did go to it. So I actually, for senior skip day, me and most of my grade, which was only about 32 people, so less than that, we went out to Coney Island to the beach, and then we came back to Brooklyn and went to like a sort of like a billiards spot sort of in our neighborhood, and then we like hung out afterwards, and then I snuck off with some people and smoked pot while other people like went to drink because that's how I do. It was fun. What
was the first thing you said? I had a question.
Senior skip day, we went to Coney Island Beach.
Are there lots of hot dogs in Coney Island?
There are.
Right on.
They just float through the air, and you can find them on the shore.
Is it Coney Island from Coney Island? Is it
like the Coney Island?
No, because that's from Detroit. But is it? I was wondering, is it also onions and chili and like mustard or something like that?
Like a New York hot dog?
No, a Coney Island hot dog.
No.
So a Coney Island hot dog you get in Detroit.
Named after Coney Island, which is in New York.
Is it?
Yes.
Do you know that for a fact?
100% yes.
Okay. And so Coney Island's hot dogs come from Coney Island, New York?
So they're named after it.
But they're not there.
But the actual hot dogs that you get at Coney Island are Nathan's hot dogs.
Uh-huh.
And you can get chili on them, but like it's just sort of like a ketchup, mustard, onions, or relish thing.
Sounds like a goddamn conspiracy to me.
It's fucking delicious. And so Coney Island has the like amusement park, which is actually closed now, which is sad. And then it's the end of the line, like it's the end of the subway, so it's water, it's the beach, and like not the cleanest water ever, like there's always shit floating in it, but like when you grow up in the city, it's like it's the beach, it's still real. And that's all I have to say about that. Do you like eating chili on a hot dog, or does that feel like, is that too much meat?
No, I love a chili dog. We should have chili dogs to eat later.
I like your chili dog.
Oh shit!
Oh my god!
So whenever I've been in Detroit and got Coney's, I got it without the mustard.
Yeah, of course, because you don't like mustard.
I don't like mustard, but
a Coney is different. Definitely not like a. That's like a whole other thing.
So when you go to Coney, they're not like, get your Coney Island hot dogs. They're just like, get your hot dogs.
Yeah. But there aren't a ton of like old school.
Jersey Nets.
I was gonna say there aren't like a ton of old school people just like running around telling everybody to get hot dogs.
Get your hot. Hey, have you tried this new invention? It's called a hat dog.
A hat dog.
A hat dog.
Hot dogs are delicious. They are made in the water that is magic and gross, and you don't know what's happening, and it smells good and makes you feel a little nauseous, but like,
so
I'm gonna get you a hot dog.
They're boiled in water on the stand.
Oh yeah. Well, so when you get them on the street, like on the street corner, they're boiled in water. Yeah.
And those guys don't self-promote. They're not like, get your hot dogs.
Not really.
People just show up and buy them. They just know that they got the goods.
Yeah. It's just a street. It's just a street hot dog.
Are there any hot dog street vendors that grill their hot dogs?
No, but I think that they do at Nathan's. I don't think they boil them. So the ones like at Coney Island that like you go to, like I think that those are on like a roller thing. Or like a grill.
A roller grill?
You know what I mean. Something.
Like at 7-Eleven?
I don't know.
No,
I never
kidding.
cooked with them.
You're talking about the Ferris wheel roller grill, not the the one with all the rollers and the things just sort of.
Yeah.
It's a wide rotation, not a small rotation.
Not like a gas station
rotation.
hot dog. Yeah.
It's nothing like a gas station hot dog.
It's nothing like a gas station hot dog.
So, but there are no hot dog vendors that grill their hot dogs?
I mean, I'm sure there are, but not the ones who have the little carts on the corner of the streets. No, those are boiled.
And do they usually only have hot dogs, or do they have an option of getting a hot dog, a Polish sausage, or
so usually it's hot dogs,
a bratwurst,
gyro meat.
Gyro meat?
Yeah.
Is that the meat that goes around and around and around in a circle?
That's one of them.
Euro meat?
Meats.
Lamb and tuna
sometimes
fish.
There's a kebab. Usually there are a few cans of sodas.
Sometimes
and
a
water
kablam.
bottle and a Snapple or something. I don't know. There's usually pretzels there, so that's where you get hot pretzels.
Like
on the
warm
street.
pretzels?
Yeah. And usually I get them with mustard. We'll get you one without.
One time I had a dream.
But I don't know if they make other stuff there. They probably do. But
so you know how you can get a bag of small crunchy pretzels?
I have heard of that, yeah.
I had a dream once that I had a Santa Claus satchel full of warm pretzels.
For yourself or to hand out to all the good little boys and girls?
Well, I mean, in the dream it was for myself, but if I ever had access to one, I would definitely hook all the boys and the girls up.
You'd share.
And all the non-binaries.
A satchel of warm pretzels sounds excellent. I would need condiments and definitely a bunch of seltzers.
I'd probably have to have one of those thank you bags full of ramekins.
Thank you bag full of ramekins
with the condiments inside the closed to-go ramekins.
It's a squirrely operation. You might get condiments everywhere. If you're not careful, if you're not on your balance and keeping your shit together.
Only if everybody's not on
everywhere.
not on their birth control mints, then I'll get my condiments everywhere.
Oh, my husband, ladies and gentlemen. The comedian.
My wife. What a battle axe.
So, I mean, overall, I enjoyed watching this movie with you, but I just enjoy watching movies with you. So technically this is my pick, but only because you were like, hey, there are two movies you can choose from. This one or The Seventh Dwarf. Also,
not dwarf.
Dwarf.
That'd be like Volume 7 in Dwarf on Stocking.
You know what I'm saying?
Golf.
Because it
a Norm
also has
Macdonald
Norm
joke.
Macdonald. So, yes, I chose, but did I really choose?
Do you actually say it like
Dwarf?
Oh, you didn't put the W in the
it's
first.
It's a dwarf.
You said Dorf.
No, it's not Steven Dorff. It's a dwarf.
Dwarf on golf.
I'm dwarfing on your golf. I'm definitely picking the next movie, and it's gonna be better.
It's my pick.
Oh my god. Well, I'm sure we're gonna talk about that for the next week.
So, what was the first movie we did ever? Not Orphan. Before Orphan, we did what? You don't even remember 3 episodes ago?
What was it?
I don't remember.
Yeah, exactly.
So it was Troll or House of Wax.
Exactly.
Where
we did House of Wax, which you chose.
Right. Was this the worst movie we watched so far?
Ugh, probably, yeah. At least Troll had some like interesting graphics and shit.
Uh-huh.
Ugh. Yeah, this sort of was still your pick, but whatever. You could pick next week.
So one of the things that perplexed me about this movie was the way that they would just sort of cut. It was almost like once the party was happening, all continuity was sort of like they were freestyling with the continuity.
Yeah, they just cut back and forth and
cut from one scene of the party to the other.
Yeah. And then you're right. At the end when they kiss, they like the
break
credits
character.
Start rolling as they're kissing, and then they break character.
And he's like, so how long have you, he's like, there it is, our first kiss. How long have you been,
She's like,
does
"How long
she
have
say,
you
how
been-"
long have you been waiting to do that? And he goes,
3 weeks.
4 if you count rehearsal.
Yeah.
And she's like, I kissed you in rehearsal. And he's like, no, you didn't. He's
Yeah.
like, oh, you kissed my stand-in or whatever. And
Yeah,
it's
because
just-
in real life they were supposed to have been friends for like 7 years or something.
right. And I don't know. I think they were trying to just show the wacky, freewheeling nature of
look
the
at
movie.
them. They're having such a great time together. I don't know. Again, would have been more interesting to just watch a movie about this like psychotic principal, or maybe what was going on in this like weird, mean, cheating boyfriend's life, because the principal goes to his house at one point and there's a gay Indian man that shows up who I would assume, or you're sort of supposed to assume, is his father's partner. But it's very weird. You don't meet his dad. And like the boyfriend only says one thing about this guy. He's just like, I can't go back to my house because
I can't deal with Sanjay's shit.
There. Yeah, I can't deal with his shit. And then Larry Miller shows up and it's like this man who is just super flamboyant and also kicks the shit out of him. So,
But then Larry Miller kills him. Remember that?
that's true. He
So
also
they're
kills
like-
him.
So,
Yeah, no,
'cause
this movie like had real dark moments.
see, that's what I'm saying. If they had just leaned into that shit and made it like a crazy, like if it was like, imagine if it started as Ferris Bueller's Day Off and then ended like
American Psycho.
or like Get Carter with Michael Caine.
Michael Caine.
Michael Caine.
Yeah, that would be a better movie, my love.
That would be a better movie, my love.
Well, thank you as always for having me on the program to speak with you.
Thank you for having me, because this is your program
This
too.
is my program.
This is your mam wham,
This
mamma
is-
wham.
This is our mam wham. And as always, write, call, fax, email, do whatever you need to do if you have questions for us, or you want your letters read live on the air.
That's right. Did we get everybody in the shout outs?
I think we did it.
Did we do it?
I think we did it.
All right, let's do it.
All right.
Love you.
Love you too.
Talk
See
to
you
you
next
later.
week.
Bye.